I may have this wrong. I was just thinking about it today and I didn't double check. But I believe The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I may have this wrong. But I believe it was a story about a man coming to terms with that there's two types of people in the world. And apples and onions, let's say. And apples do what they're told to do, wait in line, conform, don't strive for anything more out of life. And onions onions are gonna get what they want. Onions go for it. Kind of abusing it because I think I don't have the story quite right. And so in the story, I believe that he tries out being an onion, which is being like pushy and demanding and entitled and icky. But like most people want things to go well. So you got an icky person coming into your restaurant. You're like, let's just get this guy what he wants. Don't charge him for the desserts if he doesn't want to pay for it. So Walter Mitty, if I have it right, thought, hey, this is pretty great, man. I found the cheat code. When really he's being a dick. And but I think about that, like, there's been so many times in my life where you just think that there's, things are black and white. And then you find out it's not black and white at all. And there's some people that have never had to, jump through that hoop or wait in line or anything like that. And then there's been times where I've been told, like, well, you can't do that, or no one does that, or like, it's basically like doubters, which and you can do that. Like, these are things you can do. These are things you can get away with. Like, you don't have to necessarily. And so, in my mind, like, the apples are playing it safe. Like, if you do this you don't take any shortcuts, right? You just go from point A to point B. And then the onions take a shortcut. But it is a roll of the dice in that sometimes shortcuts lead to having to backtrack, and now to get to point B, now you've walked twice as far. But what did you learn? Are you a better judge now of shortcuts? And also you knew you were able to find your way back. So quite often I think that, like, there's been things that I was able to accomplish, and only in retrospect I think, oh, I can't believe that worked. And I think that there's a fairly large amount of people that just believe something could work and give it a shot, and they learned the hard way that they were completely wrong. But the thing is, I think that, like, if you're an onion, with some judgment, you like the whole, like, shoot for the stars. Like, why not aim for the stars? Like, apples don't want to dare that high. They don't want to rise above their situation. They can't risk. They don't feel like they could risk rising above the situation because things are so, like, I don't want to disturb my situation. I'd rather, like, I'd maybe even rather suffer than try to upset the situation further or disturb the situation further. There's a quote that I quite liked about, like, that people have, like, a built-in level of suffering. Like we all, every single one of us has an idea of how much suffering is a legitimate amount of suffering. Like, how bad would this get? And then how cold would you get? How hungry would you get? How all these things would you get before you finally said, oh, you know what? I'm changing things right now. And typically, when I see this most take place, typically it's when people let life make the changes for them. They're the people that are like, oh, I can't find another job, or I can't do this, I can't find a good place to live, or these things. And then they get evicted and they get fired. And then sure enough, they were capable of it all along, but afraid of the disturbance. And I think that there's other people that have like for instance, we had a guy that started at my work a long time ago, and I'm like, well, you're almost off. Like, do you want to go take this trash in on your way out? And he went, no. And I'm like, all right, well, you don't have to if you want to just wait till you're off work, but you understand that like that will be part of your job, right? Like you'll be taking the trash in. And he got this like this look on his face, and he quit. So he in fact will not be taking the trash in. He didn't tell me I'm never going to do it or anything like. I ceased to be important, and so did the job. He's not going to work someplace where he has to handle other people's trash. It's, on one hand, you're like, holy smokes. But on the other hand, there are people out there like that, and then they are right. They are right to say to themselves that they are right that they could proclaim, I'm never going to haul another man's trash. And they'll work it out. So, anyway, that's what I was thinking about.